This podcast is a 98 Studios production.
Today's the day, baby.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Today's the motherfucking day.
Today is the day.
Today's the day.
Today is the day.
Today's the day.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to Today's the Day with Zack Andersen. I got a treat for you guys. I got an exciting episode for you guys, and I'm about to have a lot of fun myself, so I'm excited. Mr. Kelton Higgins, welcome out here.
About time.
Welcome to the It is about time.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that on the drive over here because we just got off the phone, and I'm like, dude, how do we not already have a part one and a part two? And it's because we go films work stuff, and then it never ends up happening. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I know your people who listen to my podcast have been waiting for it. I know everybody in the door-to-door space has been waiting for it, and there are people who aren't going to know who you are. They're going to love this because I know how you operate. I know the gems you have, so I'm super excited.
Cool.
First off, you're a beast, dude. Thank you so much. Life is crazy. This is about the busiest time of the season for you and for me. We got hundreds of dudes shipping cross-country to go work, and you made time to come down here for an hour, so I appreciate you. Not to mention, you've got a little girl, one on the way. Wife is probably craving every second she can with you, so I appreciate you a lot. So
we're so stoked, dude.
It's going to be really good. So for anyone who's watching, me and Kelton, we're partners. We've worked together for the last, 4 years now? This is year 5.
Going on 5.
5th year working together. This is my biggest competition. Like, this is like Kelton sets my bars for me. He's like the GOAT, dude. Literally, ever since he came onto the scene, he's been either giving me a run for my money or just absolutely obliterating me. So I love it, dude. And it's been so helpful for me. It's pushed me a lot. So Kelton's one of my honestly, one of my role models 100%. And it's cool because you're closer to my age and we're super relatable. And like, every part of us is so competitive with each other, but then we also relate on a totally different level. So I'm super stoked to dive into it.
Yeah, especially on the golf course. Holy cow. Yesterday.
Oh, I don't want to talk about yesterday, bro. Kelton's the guy on the golf course. No, you're the guy on the golf course where if it's a 16-incher, you have to see it through from me. And I missed those.
Yeah.
3 strokes yesterday. Anyways.
So
fun. Kelt beat me yesterday.
Zach's the guy. We're on the green and it's like, hey, what stroke are you at? And I'm like literally like backing up to putt. I'm like,
you
dude,
wish.
relax, bro.
You wish. No. And then John Ross, shout out, whooped both of us.
He did great.
We may have been competitive, but he clutched up and whooped both of us. So Kelt, dude, I'm super stoked. I think a lot of people listening, and me included, like, I want to hear like your story from the beginning. Yeah. Because I know a lot about the last 5 years of your life. And then I've seen little snippets when we're sitting around the fire, sitting in the office, shooting the shits, hanging out. You give me little snippets. I'm like, bro, this kid's like, this makes a lot of sense. Like, why you're crushing makes a lot of sense. And honestly, the outlook you have is one of like your superpowers and something that I'm not envious of, but I'd try my best to be more like you with. And like, it sounds like you've always had it. So I'm stoked. But let's start very beginning. Like, where were you from? What was family life?
Yeah.
How many siblings? Give us the whole rundown from start, and then we'll catch up. And I got some questions for you.
Yeah. Local, Lehi. 3 older brothers, younger sister, super just traditional household, like phenomenal parents, always there. Really like hardworking parents. Like, my dad was, he was a car salesman. You're talking 9 to 9 and then come home and then always in the garage. So always like saw that growing up. But always had like a really good relationship with my brothers as far as like influence over me to like not be a jackass and try to like have my head on straight. Mom was always like the most admirable person. Like, she was the jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she actually worked at Target for like, I think she still works there actually, like part-time, but 20 something years, graveyards my whole life. And
that's gangster.
It's crazy, dude. And we would still like, we'd come home and our curfew was like 12 o'clock. She'd be at work at like 3 o'clock and she'd stay up for us. She couldn't go to bed. So she's up there. So like growing up, tons of structure. But at the same time, like just the coolest family, dude. Like super, super cool, great relationships. I probably, I mean, that's probably where I'd put it. It's just like hardworking. And my dad is like a hands-on guy. And that's like one thing that like I totally missed out. All my other brothers are so good with that. They can like build a house, build this, build cabinets. And like, I just was never that guy. I was like the guy that like I could entertain everyone while they were working.
Yeah.
And, crack the jokes, make it light and fuzzy in the room. And then it was always like the joke of the family. Like, dude, Kelton, you can't even put a whole, like hang a picture, right? Yeah. But like my brothers are all really good at that. So we're all different in a way. Yeah. But yeah, that was like kind of like my strong suit growing up, is just try to entertain everyone else when they were working hard.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, because people listening, like, there's all sorts of ways to be brought up. And in that way of being brought up, it's like, oh, we were humble, mom worked, like had a lot of structure, older brothers, younger, like it was great. Like it sounds all great. But in the moment as a kid, there are moments where you're like, bro, my life is the worst. I hate my life. Like, I'm curious for you in that situation, what those moments were of like as a kid seemed like the worst thing in the world. Yeah. Like seemed like, oh dude, everyone else has it better than me. My mom has to work. Like what was your perspective as a little kid? And hindsight's always 20/20, but in the moment, what was it?
Yeah. I mean, just like the little things where like now I'm like so grateful. And I know that sounds crazy, but like very strict as far as like curfew. Like you cannot be late. If you're late, like all hell breaks loose. It's just not okay.
Yeah.
So that's like so frustrating, right? You're like, dude, I'm like 3 minutes late. Like, why am I getting my ass chewed right now?
Yeah.
And it's so hard to see it in the moment. But now I'm like, because she's not sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Because my dad is working so much. So like for me, it's actually changed my perspective a ton. And honestly, like changed, I don't know, like just everything about like my appreciation for like my parents and how much they actually cared.
Mm-hmm.
In the moment, dude, the most frustrating thing in the world, right? I'm like, dude, I'm like 10 minutes. Are you kidding me? You know, we grew up in a household where it was like, you keep what you kill and you have to make sure that if you want something, you have to go like make the money for it.
Yeah.
And it was like so taxing because and it's not like, there's not like a right or wrong, but dude, for sure had buddies where they never had to work. They had the credit card that almost like was like unlimited or whatever. You know what I mean?
Feels unlimited.
Yeah,
dude.
And it's like,
whenever.
Yeah, dude. And it's like, dude, they have 3 new baseball bats. I never had one. But like for me, I was like, I don't really care. It's fine. But looking back, it was like umpiring baseball games like every Saturday when I was 12.
Yeah.
Right? So frustrating. I was like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
Installing fences and then 2-a-days in football. So I'd go work out in the morning, install fences, and then all of a sudden it's like 7-on-7s at night, and everyone else is like home chilling in their pool or whatever.
Yeah.
So frustrating,
for
right?
sure.
So my parents were, and I don't even know if it's like they couldn't afford it, or maybe they could, but that's what was frustrating for me is in the moment, I was like, this is insane. Like how hard it is to just like, I don't know, like the structure and like the lessons that we're trying to be taught, that was frustrating. But now I'm looking back, I'm like, dude.
And that's why I asked that, because in the moment, that's any hardship as a kid. Typically, the things that as a kid you're the most mad about and the most like, my life is the worst, like whatever the trial may be, whether it's like literally that, like you're stuck working like an adult when you're 12, or parents splitting up, or drama with the siblings, or whatever. It's like hindsight, always looking back, in my experience, and this is why I bring it up, is because every time I talk about that stuff, people are always so grateful. Like once they go make it out, it's like, man, that's actually probably a big reason why I made it.
Yeah.
Like that's probably a really big reason why I'm able to go be self-sustainable. And who knows, maybe your parents had plenty of money to go and cover those things. I think it's a super smart call on their part, right? You went and learned certain life lessons that most people don't learn until they're your age right now. You learn them at 12.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's so valuable. It's so sick. So,
yeah.
So growing up, you had your siblings, you got into sports, I assume, pretty early. Like what were your sports? What was your junior high or high school experience?
Everything, dude.
Baseball.
Yeah. 3 older brothers played baseball. There were Saturdays we'd have 8 games, dude. And parents were obviously trying to go to those. Grandpa was trying to, show up to one, so we felt supported. But baseball was everything to us since 8 years old, dude. I was a catcher, always caught. And then, you have like that dream, like, dude, I want to go pro. I'm going to give it everything I got, whatever. And yeah, I mean, dude, baseball was everything. We traveled all over, kind of like just like your typical like Super League or, Tournament of Champions, all those kind of tournaments. New York, Omaha, Las Vegas, like, wherever. But that was like kind of like maybe like the first lesson as far as like teamwork was for sure like baseball.
Baseball at what age?
Started at 8. Dude, fell in love with it when I was 8. Like I still remember like in the batting cages, like with, just coaches. But dude, honestly, I think it was like the aha moment of like, I'm obsessed with this was like 12U. 12U was like, oh my gosh.
And that's when you say you started learning life lessons. What do you mean? Like, what are you learning at 12 years old playing baseball?
Dude, frustration. I had the worst temper. Like I like demanded, like, dude, so intense. Like if I struck out, it was like, I was never one to like throw my bat and like get my team all pissed off. But like internally, it was so bad. And dude, it was like so severe where like and no one obviously knew this, but I was like, Mom, like, I'm like, it's like insane. Like, I want to like almost like punch something or like break something. Like, dude, I want to break my hand, right? Like, looking back, I'm like, that actually like builds like a lot of resilience, right?
Yep.
But I would like literally have to like on my fingers when I'd like overthrow a ball, I'd have to show my mom that I was counting to 10 on my fingers. Nuts, dude. And she'd be looking at me and she'd be like, hey, I saw you do it when you overthrew that ball or when you did that. And I'd be sitting there like this and she could just see my hands going and I'd be counting to 10.
To like calm yourself down.
Yeah,
lose
dude.
it.
And be like, dude, like, it's all right. It's all right. So like the short-term memory, because dude, baseball's failure, right? It's like, you just fell and you fell and you fell.
What is like so actually I love that. And Jeremy Guthrie we just had on, World Series pitcher, beast, stud.
Such a cool episode.
Coolest dude ever. Like he mentions how much you just said baseball's failure. And I'm actually curious, like batting percent averages, right? Like a really good batting percent average. What is that? How many are they hitting out of 100 balls?
I mean, they're hitting 30's good.
That's insane. So you're failing. If you are really good, you're failing 70% of the time. And I think that's where the value is. Like you're literally learning to accept failure. And when you say frustration, I'm assuming probably pretty self-defeating frustration. And a lot of people that haven't done hard things, when they get in their 20s and they start doing something hard, their initial reaction to failure is some type of tough emotion like frustration or pity or doubt or fear. And it's all inflicted.
Totally.
And it's super self-defeating because they've never learned how to go and like, that's crazy. I love that. Like a 12-year-old learning to go manage their emotions. That's the life lessons you learn. And that's so sick.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love that. Sorry.
And just like the extra work, like you get so obsessed with certain things. And then like once you hit like obsession, it becomes like so fun. Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're hitting late at night and your hands are bleeding and you're like, I just don't even care. Like I got to finish the bucket because it's just so fun. Like I just hit the last 10 just so pure. I'm going to keep hitting. Right.
Yep.
So that's another thing as far as just like the work ethic aspect is in baseball. It's like you can learn how to work so hard, but also have so much fun. Because sometimes people are like confuse that aspect where it's like, you just got to work hard. And it's like, it seems like dreadful. It's like, dude,
for sure.
Oh my gosh. Like, because naturally people are just want to be lazy and kind of go with the flow. And like working hard seems like stressful, but it's like when you can find something that you love, which for me was baseball, which now is my job. It's like, dude, it's a hobby. It's golfing. It's whatever. It's so fun.
You just get obsessed, and then like practice and work turns into play when you're like obsessed. And one thing I've learned, I'm actually curious on your thought of this, because you always hear like, find your passion, do something you love. You'll never work a day in your life. And then Mark Cuban, I've talked about this on a couple episodes, but Mark Cuban, he has a quote where he's like, he thinks that mindset is bullshit. And he thinks if you go find something, apply yourself and start getting better, you will go become obsessed. And in my experience, it's like, dude, I got into a career that I hated off rip. I hated it.
Yeah.
I've had more fun doing our job. And I love our job, and I enjoy like the part that I used to hate. I freaking enjoy because I got really good at it.
Yep.
Right. And it's because I got obsessed with it and everything like that. What's your thoughts on that? Is that like, oh no, you got to fall in love with something right off rip for it to become a passion? Or do you feel like passion can be developed through going and applying yourself, even if you don't love it at first?
Yeah. So I think people can kind of confuse like two things. One is fulfillment and happiness, right? And like, for example, like if you're like, dude, all I want to do is hunt, and like that's like all I like to do, and so it's like I'm just gonna go guide hunts, right? Like, or like, you know, just like different things. Like I'm just gonna go caddy golf course, like golf players, whatever. It's like what you're following your passion, and it's like you're always doing what you love to do, but you're gonna miss like a fulfillment factor, which is actually like way, in my opinion, like way bigger than happiness is the fulfillment, right? Fulfillment only happens when you're doing something that's like kind of hard. Like there's like a suffering involved. Yeah. And this job, it brings me more fulfillment than happiness, I would say.
Yeah.
Totally
for sure.
Brings me a ton of happiness.
I feel that.
But it's bringing me something that's like way more valuable than being like, dude, I just like, you know what I mean? I'm just like doing what I love every single day.
So why do you think it brings fulfillment? Like what warrants fulfillment? Challenge.
Yeah. Fulfillment comes after like suffering. Fulfillment comes after a struggle. It's like doing something that's like, dude, like this sucks, right? For example, if you're like in a gym and you can be happy going to the gym, wear your flip-flops, have your Beats headphones on. I always give this example. And you could like hit some sets, text, Instagram, whatever. You can walk out of the gym and be pretty happy, right? But when you finish 100 burpees for time and you're like, have a pit in your stomach on 55 and you're like dripping sweat, you are so fulfilled after. It's completely different.
You're not happy, you're fulfilled.
You're not happy. You're
just
fulfilled.
You like conquered the beast.
You did. And it's way stronger. And so like, that's what I like. You have to like chase, in my opinion, right? You have to chase fulfillment rather than happiness. And it'll follow. It'll follow.
I love that. So I mean, I think that means in a lot of ways you agree with Cuban on that.
I do.
You go find something that's challenging where you go apply yourself and you figure it out. You're going to become obsessed with it because it's going to be extremely fulfilling.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tony Robbins' quote, the greatest failure in life is success without fulfillment. Like exactly same thing. So then, and we're off on a tangent, but question then is like, how do you find fulfillment in something when you're, because I'll use this example, like the guy who just wants to be negative about something and wants it to not. I'm a true believer. You're always going to find what you're looking for.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. So it's like that same guy could go to the same gym as you and do the same intense workout, get through it the exact same way you did and leave like, bro, that effing sucked. I'm never doing that again. Like, just F that, screw that. What's the difference between the guy leaving feeling fulfilled and the guy not? Because in our line of work, and then in a lot of things too, I think our line of work is a parallel with hard things. So if you're listening to this and you're not in sales or what we do, just apply this to whatever's hard. And I assume that the advice or it all applies.
Yeah.
How do you go find fulfillment, or what do you say to someone who's like, dude, like I'm trying and I'm just not finding fulfillment? And like, what's your advice then? Because I know what mine would be. What's yours?
I don't know. I don't have like a direct answer. I would say like on the spot, it'd be like, you know, naturally it's like, dude, like try harder, but I would say like try to think different. Like sometimes people are like they're trying is, for example, like you're knocking doors and you have the same pitch. This happened to me actually, same pitch. And all I would do is call my leadership and say, I'm trying, right? And so like what was cool was actually like, I call it like in the lab, right? What was cool is like coming home and then being like, okay, I have to change things, right?
Yep.
And so what I would say is like, hey, we have a problem. Maybe trying harder isn't the solution, right?
Yep.
And I think the fulfillment factor is actually feeling confident about a solution.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, the way you're going to get fulfilled, even though you're trying just like this guy and he's trying and he's feeling fulfilled because he's trying and you're not and you're trying, is maybe strategize in a different way that brings confidence about how you're going to go actually accomplish what you're going to accomplish. And then from there, it's like, dude, I feel confident about what I'm doing different now. And then from there, you have like this sense of like, I can go do it. And then when there's that confidence, boom, you go have like the success. I think that'll bring the fulfillment.
For sure. So I agree 100%. I asked and I did put you on. I'm going to keep putting you on the spot.
Great question, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. No, the reason I asked is because that's my opinion is very, very similar. My opinion on that is like, dude, you find what you look for. And I truly believe anything that you go apply yourself to that's challenging, if it's challenging enough, you're going to find growth in it. And if there is growth in something, there's fulfillment to be found if you want to.
Yeah.
If there's growth in something, but you choose not to seek out the fulfillment piece of it, you're not going to feel it.
No.
Like you can go be miserable. You can be miserable in a workout all day long. But if you choose to realize like, okay, I want to get bigger. I want to get stronger.
Yeah.
I want to have good health. And this is getting me closer to all those things. And mentally, I just overcame this massive battle. Like, hell yeah. That's fulfillment. Fulfillment is choosing to look at the growth that you're getting out of something challenging, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's almost like looking at like a bird's eye view of like, okay, like I actually have grown. I'm in this problem. And it's like reflecting a lot of like what you already have. Dude, that's actually like probably the biggest problem that we probably deal with like leadership development and everything, is everyone just thinks they're doing so much worse than they are.
Oh, exactly. That's crazy.
Dude, I can't even tell you how many times, like, it's the same problem with like body image, right?
Yep.
Like we're like driving and my wife's just like, I bet people need to understand, like they just look so much better than they think.
For sure.
Like all the time, right?
For sure,
You just get these guys who are like, dude, I feel fat. I'm like, I just see a 6-pack on you. I'm confused.
Yep.
Like you have veins in your arms and like you look jacked. Like this is like, you look like a dream. But how do you feel fat?
So why do you think that is? Why do you think people do?
Dude, I just think it's just like the same principle. 97% of thoughts are negative, dude.
Yep.
It's like, I want to make these shirts. I'm dead serious. I'm passionate about the what if ... right? It's like, what if I suck? What if I this? Dude, everyone has these negative thoughts all the time. But then you have to ask yourself, like, what if I'm great? Like, what if it works?
Mm-hmm.
What if I'm like phenomenal? And that actually, the what if question, and we'll not to jump to it, and we'll go back to this, is why I'm in my job right where I'm at. Is like, I like randomly, like after weeks on end of what if negative like connotations, I finally gave myself a good what if scenario, and then I pulled the trigger to come do this job.
I love that. I want to ask about that actually and go in depth, because I've heard you talk about that principle, and I've actually trained on that principle after I heard you talk about it. I stole it from you. I love it. I think it's genius, and I think it's a really
I stole it from someone.
It's always right.
Yeah.
It's a really good way to go completely shift how you're viewing your circumstances.
Yeah.
Completely.
Totally.
So, and I love it. And honestly, I forgot a little bit about it. So thanks for reminding me. So sorry, got off on a little tangent. Getting through, you're playing junior high, 12 years old, junior high into high school, playing baseball. Sounds like you were going pretty big with it. You guys were crushing. You got used to winning, I assume.
Yeah.
Like you were learning life lessons, and you're also dominating. And I know your experience in baseball, I know that you got really good, but how was that process all the way through junior high, high school? What was the balance of life there? What were the struggles throughout junior high and high school?
Yeah.
So on and so forth. And then we'll jump into the rest of the story.
Yeah. So junior high and high school, Lehi at the time, like was not like a winning culture. Years previously for sure. When I jumped into like 9th grade, it wasn't, dude. I mean, we had the same coach that year, and we were struggling like big time. Super fortunate, played up. I batted like DH at the varsity level. And I guess like my experience was like the first time of like kind of feeling like we just suck, dude. Like we were pretty good at everything up until that point. And then being like, it's kind of embarrassing. Like we just suck at this right now. Yeah. So it was like my first time, like, dude, growing up, we were like always like the best in the state. Like we'd win like most every tournament. Just like phenomenal at what we did. Right. But then that year, it was like, dude, we were lucky. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we almost felt like teams weren't even lacing up to play us. Like, it just felt crappy, right?
Yep.
Things changed, got a new coach. It wasn't that coach's fault, dude. It was like team camaraderie, synergy. It was just bad, dude. People are throwing helmets. It just felt bad.
Mm-hmm.
The following year, got a new coach. And like, this was like probably the first guy outside of like my family that really impacted me in my life. Like, really impacted me was my coach. He coached me all
10th grade year.
Yeah, dude. Coach Ingersoll, stud, dude. And it wasn't because of like the strategy that he knew within the game, right? It wasn't like the savviness of baseball, right? He knew a lot, but for me, he taught me so much resilience. I'll never forget, dude. It was like, he was so intense, Zach. It's like hard to even understand and like wrap your head around it unless you see it. Like so intense. But the biggest bro ever. Like he taught me how to be a friend. And he taught me like that you have to expect like so much of yourself for others to actually follow.
Mm-hmm.
Like so intense, Zach, is this crazy story. We're sitting in like the locker room, whatever, and I have my mask on, swear. And he headbutts me, bleeding down his face, punches me in the gut, swear. He says, if you don't do it, no one will do it. I'll never forget it, ever. How do you forget that, right? You're like, you have blood right here, coach. Like, and I have the air knocked out of me. Like, this is feeling,
this is a little weird.
He's old school, dude. His dad was the high school basketball coach in AF. They're old school. And I'll just never forget that. Like, that was like, for me in baseball, if I could like almost like, that's like the one thing that I'll say is that moment with my coach, besides all the F-bombs and all the things, right? And feeling like, man, I just showed up 5 minutes late. I got to run for the next like 5 hours. Like, it was greatness, dude. And, but here's the kicker. It was greatness, for no one else but me. And so I always felt picked on. Like, it was so bad. I had to stand, if we had a team circle, I had to stand right in front of him every time because I couldn't shut my mouth ever. It was so bad. So like every time we got in a circle, I had to be right there in front of him. It was like a rule that I had for me.
Shut up.
I swear, dude. I looked right in his eyes, and everyone else could chit chatter while we're doing the circle. Not me, bro. I had to be right there. He like made the rule like the first day because I couldn't shut up. But that was like the moment of like, hey, someone believes in me, and I think it wasn't because I was like the best baseball player. I think he believed in me, like having influence over a certain amount of people to say, hey, we might not be the most talented. Quite frankly, we're not projected to go win a ton of games. And then we kicked ass that season, dude. Like, my senior year, we just completely crushed, dude. And I think it was because of the synergy. We had a lot of talent, but it's because we were able to mold this team together, starting with my coach. And dude, I felt picked on. Like I felt like so frustrated all the time. Like I remember being like, dude, this is unbelievable. Like I literally look at him like, I don't understand how I'm running the whole practice and no one else is. And he like never even gave me a direct answer. He's just like, dude, you just keep running. And I'm like, okay. Like it was like, so he was so hard on me, but it was smart on his end because it brought this team together like crazy. So
well, I'm curious on that. I have two questions. First question is, I think back to me, I was very, very different from you at 16, junior year, senior year, sophomore. Very, very, very different.
You were just having fun.
Clearly. I'm still probably pretty different. I was having a good time, bro.
Dude, I would have loved you.
I was
That's
going to
fun.
two periods and dude, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I wasn't
cool.
doing shit. But very different. And my thought, I'm like, bro, if I had a coach that was just being a dickhead, frankly, is how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah.
And I know it was all for the better and it clearly freaking worked, which is my next question. What part of you was like, okay, yeah, I've got the respect for this dude to like take it? Like, where did you be like, where did you come to the mature conclusion that, yeah, coach knows best. I'm going to listen. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to let this dude have influence over me to the point that it's like, I'm going to listen to what he says, even if it's not fair.
I'll say this. You never questioned his love for you. That's what I'll say.
Why?
He was so expressive about it. He like loved us and he like loved me. Like I always felt like, dude, this guy loves me. He expects so much of me. And maybe I just had the aha moment early where I'm like, he's just hard on me. Maybe because he sees potential. Or maybe he just, I don't know. Like maybe he just likes me, right? And it was like, dude, it was a weird relationship because he came in as the coach and I was like just another athlete there. And I don't know. It was like, I was kind of a knucklehead a little bit as well. I wasn't like the best like at like showing up on time or like kind of giving a shit. I was kind of like whatever. And I think that's where he was like, hey, like I'm not going to allow this. So like out the gates, he had to kind of pick on me.
Mm-hmm.
But we just built this like really strong connection. Dude, so strong. It was like my senior year. It was like awards night or whatever. Dude, he went through the whole line, grabbed the bat, starts bawling. He's like, I've never, ever been so hard on someone ever. And he's like, thank you so much. And I was like, and I knew that. Like I knew it was coming, dude. Because it was sometimes so severe where like the whole team was like, bro, this is like crazy. Like, dude, you're just getting shit on all the time, right? I'm like, it feels that way, man. Like I'm just like running this whole practice and you guys are just kicking it. I like take my shirt off. He's like, put your shirt back on. I'm like, oh shit, I'm putting it back on.
12 guys are shirtless around you.
Yeah, dude, it just felt like that, right? But anyways, it was like, I don't know, it just shaped me so much. His personality is so cool. He's the coolest guy ever. Like he's one of those guys where I'm like, dude, I hope everyone gets to know him. Like he's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know, like that aha moment came early as far as just, dude, he just was so expressive about like loving us and, loving our team. You didn't question it. So if he said something, you weren't like, dude, this guy's just a dick. Yeah, naturally.
You never questioned his intent.
You didn't.
You knew his intent.
I didn't. Maybe other people did. I didn't, dude.
That's super cool. That
I
makes
really
a lot of
didn't.
sense.
And sometimes it was like out there, like, why is he saying what he just said? Like, you overthrow a ball and you get like, he came out, dude. He pushed me in a game. Like he's pretty out there.
Yeah. I like this dude.
Dude. And I guess what? I kind of like loved it. I was like, shit, yeah, cool. Like I just sucked ass on that throw. And yeah, like I'm already counting to 10, right? Because I'm already pissed off.
And then your coach is pushing you.
Yeah,
like,
and
shit.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, with reason, I feel the same way. That was terrible. That was so bad. And so I just kind of took that and like it molded me to be like, dude, you gotta have tough skin sometimes. You gotta take contention. Like people are gonna push you. Like deal with different personalities. But at the very very top, it was like love hard.
Yep.
He loves so freaking hard, dude.
That's dope.
So he was like a big role model for me way early in my life.
That's dope. That
Gave me a ton of confidence, dude. I mean, dude, when someone's pushing you and at the end of the day, like, it's because they like you and they like believe in you, you kind of feel like, hey, man, like maybe I'm something more than what I think.
For
like
sure.
maybe I'm better than.
Yeah, when someone's willing to bet on you.
Yeah.
That's super, super cool. I
mean, it's kind of like you had people that were like pushing you, like a Brad, a Casey, a Todd. Like people are pushing you. They liked you. It gave you confidence.
Yeah, 100%. And it gives you, I don't know if chip on your shoulder or whatever. It gives you like, you have to pay your dues.
Yeah, it's like,
If
I
someone's
can't let these
willing-
guys down.
Exactly. You can't.
If he's punching you and headbutting you, he has blood dripping down. He says, if you don't do it, no one will do it.
You're gonna run the laps.
I'm like almost like a tear in my eye because it's so intense. There's like TNT, AC/DC in the background. I'm about to go freaking take the field.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got you, man. I'm gonna go freaking do this thing. You're just like,
I
it
love
changes everything, man.
I love
You're like, are we gonna go fist fight someone or what? Like,
I love it.
So cool,
I
dude.
love it. It makes me so happy. That's awesome. So that's a perfect answer. That makes a lot of sense. He loved you guys so hard that everything else, you weren't questioning his intent with it. You would do it. That makes a lot of sense. That's really, really cool. And then the next thing I would say is like, what was so special about him to go take a team that was getting absolutely shit on, projected to go lose a lot of games and go have a phenomenal season? Like what did he bring to the table? Was it literally just you guys needed some intensity? You needed a kick in the ass? You needed someone who was hard on you? Or was it, you said synergy, and I'm curious how that creates synergy.
Yeah, I think like for one, there was like a sense of like a standard that just like had to be raised, right? Team unity, like we had so many different things, dude. We was like WE, we made shirts, it was win everything. We had like a motto where it's like, you know, you walk up to bat and like you had to say this, like whisper it. It was bring it, bitch. Like I was telling, John Ross loves that one. It's like you get up and you just have to look at that guy and bring it. Like, so he brought that. He brought that like mentality into the room.
Like the dog mentality. Yeah, we got this shit. Like
dog, Zach. Like he's a dog.
Like nothing's gonna push you harder than practice pushed you. So it's all cakewalk.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it was
what would you whisper when you got up to bat?
Bring it, bitch. That was it. Let's do it. But yeah, he's just a funny dude, man. Like I gotta tell this story. It's so funny. So he's pitching, right? Okay. And I'm throwing a second as far as a drill. I get up, I pop it, I throw it. It hits him right in the arm because I threw it too low and he like didn't get out of the way. Bro, I'm not even kidding. Instantly, it was like a freaking goose egg. He's like, hey, you might want to throw that harder next time. And I'm like, huh? And then I'm like, dude, his arm was like bleeding and it was like completely swollen. He just brought that.
You can see the stitches in his arm.
And all the other
already.
catchers, like the younger dudes, are like, oh shit, like that's crazy. And I'm like, dude, I thought he was gonna come like tackle me or something because he's that guy.
You might
right?
want to throw that hard.
Yeah, dude. And he just brought that where I was like, okay, yeah, I'll throw that harder. Like, all right, like just any other coach was like, go get some ice. Like he just brought that, dude. Like just fight within us.
That's gangster.
It was cool.
Love that.
It was cool.
Love that. So then, getting through high school, that's a really, really pivotal time. And I'm already listening to that. A lot of how you navigate right now is brought from that. And you already know that. You've explained that before. And it's really cool to see like the origin of it because it's so valuable. And a lot of people never get that shit. They never, ever get it. Right. Or they get it way too late and it breaks them.
Yeah.
Right?
Or they get it and they turn away.
Yeah. They get it and they like bury their head or they avoid it or they quit the team or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's
totally
super, super cool. I love that. So then moving on from there, you get through high school, senior year, go have a good season. Then what's life like for you in your shoes, senior year of high school? You just finished your baseball season. Is it like, all right, game plans to go play in college, game plans to go on my mission, games plans to go get into business? Like, what's your life plan at that point?
Yeah.
Because I love seeing how different life turned out from how you thought it would.
Yeah. I mean, dude, at that time, I don't even know if I could spell business at that time. Like I was dumb as rocks. I was like, dude, I like look back. I'm like, dude, like there's just no like, dude, $100,000 was like, I'm not even kidding. Like maybe when I'm 50.
Yep.
Like I've kind of said that, you know what I mean, on different things, but it's like, I wasn't even worried about that. I thought it was shit out of luck, dude. I was like, oh, maybe construction. I suck at that. I mean, I could like go talk to people at like retail, maybe climb this ladder. I don't know.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Yep.
Zero plan with business. Mission was definitely the plan. Like I was like, all right, I'm going to go on a mission. You know, I was obviously dating Liza at the time, now my wife. And she was like super encouraging about that. Like, hey, let's go on missions. It was more so like, hey, you go on a mission. She ended up going on a mission as well. But like, that was like the primary focus. And yeah, I mean, at that time, it was like, everything was like, all right, man, like didn't think about it much until like, it was like almost too late. Right.
Yep.
But it was like, okay, now like once I made my decision, I'm going on a mission. So
yep. That's so
kind of senior year.
So then you go on a mission, like that's the game plan. It ends up happening. Liza's the coolest, dude. Liza's so sick. So dated her in high school, decided to leave her for a mission, which is a hard decision in and of itself. And then out of the mission, how was that experience? Was that like in your mission experience? How was that? What did you learn there? Because a lot of people that come on here, mission is like your passageway into manhood.
Yeah.
And I think there are, and I Jordan Peterson's one of my favorite people to go listen to. And he talks a lot about how there's a lot of like people don't really follow their call to adventure, and they never go have like, and Matthew McConaughey talks about it in his book Green Lights, like a passageway to adulthood or to manhood is like a real tradition in ancient, like in ancient cultures. It's like you go fight the biggest man in the town, he whoops your ass, you're like they're almost dead, and that's how you're a man. That's your 18th birthday. True. Your 18th birthday or whenever adulthood starts, that's like the other one is you go on a hunt and you have to kill a caribou all on your own with no support.
For sure.
Like there's these crazy traditions for like passageway into manhood and adulthood. And I think missions are so valuable because that's exactly that. You literally are like, it's not as crazy as other ones, but it's like, you're still like, when you come back from a mission, if you do things the way that I think they should be done, you come back a man. 100% you do. Right? So what was your experience?
You can be a dud on a mission.
For sure.
Severely. Like, it's like actually insane. But my experience was, my experience was like so hard at the beginning. Not hard like the mission. It was like, dude, I'm so grateful I didn't learn Chinese. I learned Spanish, which was like easy, right?
Yeah.
Kicked my ass. It was so freaking hard for me at the beginning. I just thought it was impossible. I'm like, there's no way. Like, if I literally could hardly graduate high school, like I never understood like the math equations.
Yeah.
How am I going to understand like these verbs and all this stupid stuff? Like, it was just nuts. So it started like way hard for me, in my opinion, just like language. I was like, dude, I got to learn this somehow. Right.
Yeah.
But the mission was, and my mission was so cool, dude, because we had like legit, like all my buddies that went on missions are like, dude, like the other missionaries were kind of like, just like, they didn't mesh with me, kind of how I am, like a little bit more like just different kind of goons or whatever. So that's like the rude way to say it, but just different, right?
Yep.
My mission was like the complete opposite. Just dogs, dude. Just homies. Super, super. Justin Wall, right?
So sick.
So sick.
One of the
dude.
best dudes out
ever.
Yep.
Ever. So my mission was a ton of like leadership development as well. But it was so cool because it was just service, dude. Like, I was thinking about this like last week. I'm like, you truly just have to serve people, whether it's like religion or not religion, but like service is it's addicting, dude.
For sure.
It's the most addicting thing ever.
For sure.
So my mission was so fun because of that. Like, I remember sitting in a lesson and I'm like, dude, I can't speak, but she has a broom and her house is a disaster. And I was like, my companion was like belittling towards me because I couldn't speak Spanish. It's like the first week, dude. And I just was like, I was like, hey, can I like trapear, which is like, hey, can I mop your floor? And she like starts laughing. And I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, I can't teach you anything.
I don't know what else to do.
I can't teach you anything, but I'm down to mop your floor. I swear, dude. I grabbed the mop and I was just like, I finally like had like a sense of relief. I'm like, I get 5 minutes of like doing something I know how to do, right? And I'm just gonna do it so good. And he's not making so. And then all of a sudden I was like, man, maybe this is like. I started mopping. I was like, dude, this is good. Like that. Now I just gotta go learn the language so then I can actually help this lady, right? So my mission started out hard, and then it got so freaking fun.
Really?
Oh, dude, it was so fun. It like the people out there. Mexico's like a hoot, bro. It's like a party. Like every household has like its big old freaking speaker.
Yeah.
They're like go go go, and people, dude, they're like the funnest people ever. And then like my companions were super awesome. Had two like gnarly companions. Dude, I had a companion who didn't even talk to me for like 6 weeks.
What?
Crazy. I'm not even kidding. Like, didn't talk.
Why? What?
Dude, he like didn't believe in Jesus. Like, he like wanted to kill people, like just crazy, right? I remember, dude, people are nuts, right? Dude, I remember one time, this is so crazy. We had like these things called garrafones. They're like big 5-gallon jugs. It was sorry, not an hour. Felt like an hour. It was a mile walk to fill them up.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he would make me carry both of them there and both of them back.
Shut up.
And he would walk empty-handed, and he never asked. Okay, but I remember my brother had a mission companion like that, where he was like so rude, kind of did things to him. My brother was like, dude, I'm just going to serve you. Not to be like Peter Priest or whatever. Fast track it. At the end of the mission, he gets the letter. Elder, you changed my life. I treated everyone like crap, and you responded with kindness. You loved me. Dude, they're like friends now, right? So I always remembered that.
Yeah.
I swear on my life, same thing happened, dude. Same thing happened with that guy.
Homie?
Yeah, dude. Crazy. He like didn't believe in God. Like his dad's a stake president, didn't believe in God. He's crazy. I'm like, well, are you sure about that? Like, do you know where we're at? We're living like this dump, like little like middle. We're like 2 hours from everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a lot of sacrifice, bro.
You're like, you don't have to be here.
I'm like, bro, we're like sleeping in like the crappiest situation. Why are you here, right? It was so funny, but like,
I would have gone home if my companion. I would have gone to the mission president. Like, yeah, props to you, dude. That's
yeah.
sick.
So like that was like one of those moments as well, where like it was like hard, but like now I'm like looking back, I'm like, dude, so grateful. I learned how to deal with like
that's dope.
Like someone so difficult. And then like fast track it like towards the end of the mission, dude. It was just like we when I say we did things different, maybe this is like kind of a weird thing to say, and a lot of people would be like, that's just wrong. We brought so much hype to the mission, like. Yeah. We weren't like these spiritual giants, dude. We're just never good at that. And honestly, like I'm just not good at that. Like I'm not like this, like I can't put on my spiritual voice like a lot of people and just like start to bear. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just suck at that. I suck so bad.
Yeah.
I always feel cringe at times, right? To be candid. But what we could do is we could get all the leaders to have a push-up competition, and we could mosh pit. And no, seriously. And then the president comes in. He's like, what's going on in here? And I'm like, President, you're up next. No, I'm not doing it, right? This is true, dude. Like talent shows. We throw on a talent show. All of a sudden, we're smashing watermelons over our heads, right? It's like crazy. We got the mission president's wife to eat a habanero in front of 100 people. She lost her shit. It was nuts. But guess what, dude? Guess what happened? I learned something. We started dominating. People started having fun. Mm-hmm. People were like, wait, this is like, I'm going to get competitive with homeboy. The energy changed.
Yeah.
And so like, that's like one thing that like, whenever some people talk about their mission, I almost like stand back and like, don't share mine, because it wasn't like this, like it was
super
spiritual
standard.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it was also like, dude, we were so focused on like, hey, we go out there and we love what we do, and we're going to help people for sure. We're going to change people's lives. But there was so much energy when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, I don't think that's wrong at all. I love that, actually. I really love that, because a lot of people have talked about their missions, and many haven't talked about that, because most environments, there's not an insane amount of energy. There's a lot of spirituality, right? And the thing that I actually believe wholeheartedly, insane energy and spirituality can coexist in the same environment 1,000%.
Totally.
I only say that if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins event, you know exactly what I'm saying. If you've ever been to like a very touching event where whatever's being shared is extremely touching and spiritual, but the energy's through the roof and you feel like you can run through a wall. I almost think you can feel the spirit stronger when your energy's really high. I think there's also a time for calm spiritual. Like I think there's a balance in both.
Yeah.
And often one of the two is missed.
Yeah.
One of the two is not apparent. So I love that, actually. I didn't actually know that about your mission. That's
super,
sick.
super high. I mean, Jay Wall helped out, of course. He was so
That's
fun.
my dog, dude. I
mean, there's so many, like, dude, like, there was so many elders like that. Where like, dude, like, wait, we're kind of all alike right here. There's like 14 of us. Like when we saw each other, dude, like we literally like mosh pit. I'm dead serious. President comes out. He's like, what's going on in the chapel? And we're all just like, oh crap. Cause like now our shirts are untucked. Like our hair's all messed up. Cause we're just like so pumped to see each other. Right. Pretty wild, dude. Just like totally out, like childish, whatever. But it I don't know. In my opinion, it changed everything in the mission. And it like, dude, we were ourselves. Like we just loved it. It was so fun.
It's awesome. I love that. So then getting home from the mission, right? That's like a whole shell shock for you, maybe less, because a lot of people go on their mission and it's unlike anything in real life. It's like the opposite of what you're explaining, and still super, super beneficial. And I'm a very, very big advocate of missions if it's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So then you get home, then what?
Dude, even before getting home, true story, I'm like sitting in the offices about to come home. Like we're like a day before we go home with all the elders. And we're like talking to each other like, hey, what are we going to do when you get home? And it's just, dude, one guy's like, yeah, I have a full ride to BYU. Next guy's like, yeah, I'm going to go be a lawyer like my dad. And the next guy's like, yeah, my grandpa was like the #1 anesthesiologist or whatever. So I'm going to follow his tracks. Oh, I'm getting my dad dental practice, right? And then and then it's my turn, dude. And I was just like, I have no clue. Are you going to college? I think so, right? Do you have a job going back? No. Do you have any money? 0. And I'm like, and I remember like, I remember like going to bed that night and I like said a prayer. I was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't. I just need you to bless me with someone that will believe in me and like someone that will like mentor me. That was like my ask, right?
Yeah.
is to just like find someone that can like bless my path, because I actually genuinely just had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
So that was like my first like stressful moment
in life.
Dude,
reality,
so stressed.
Reality
so
set
stressed.
in. You're like, oh shit.
I'm like, I'm going to go marry this girl. I love her. I'm so pumped. And then I'm like, rings are X amount. Weddings are how much? Honeymoon? Hell no, bro. Well, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no way.
Yep.
So that was like my first like coming home, where I'm like, I don't want to go home now. Like, I actually like this. Like, I'm fine. Like, this is like easy.
Let me stay for a few years. Dude.
Yeah. How do I extend? Is it too late?
No. I love that.
And so like that was like so stressful, coming home fun. And then like a week later, you're like, dude, I seriously have no idea what I'm doing.
I love this. So this is where we're ending part 1 of your episode.
Okay.
You just went crush life, reality setting in. This is a cliffhanger. This is sick. We've never done this. Reality setting in. You say the prayer to God, like, homie, give me somebody to just help me get through this crap. You start realizing reality check, boom.
Totally.
Right. I love that. So part 2 is going to be out. We're going to intro it. We're going to roll into it right now. But everybody listening for this episode, thank you for listening this time. And as always, much love until part 2. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. As always, it was a blast for me. I hope you got something out of this. If you got something out of this video of value, share this with a friend, and please go show your love. We're on all streaming platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Any ratings, comments, likes, shares, they go a very long way, and they make it so I can keep doing these things for you, and I would appreciate it greatly. So please go share with a friend. Until next time.